At Humoriso, we're not just another HR consultancy. We're a team of dedicated experts wanting to bring your business forward. Our Humoriso Technology Solutions, HTS, are a different kind of HR tech. Give real-time insights without overwhelming managers with too much data. So whether you're a growing startup, an established company, our human resources outsource support, payroll management are all there to help drive your business forward. So check us out and see what Humoriso could do for you today.
Whoa!
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are back.
He's back.
We are back. The three amigos are back. Yes, Paz is back in the flesh. Feeling good, looking good, Lewis. I'm thrilled. I really am, guys. I missed you. I know I stopped in once over the summer to say hello, but I'm thrilled to have the gang back together. Get that energy going. Danielle, Joel, what's happening, folks?
Missed ya. That's it.
Yeah.
That's my update.
We're doing it. My eyebrows are growing back. I got a little gray in the beard, but you know what? I earned it. I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be here with my friends. Joel, what's happening, buddy?
Not much, man. Just recovering from Wreckfest on the way
Still?
to ERE next week. The RIS, the Recruiting Innovation Summit. Super excited to be going there. Our friend Brian Fink will be there as well. I think Clark Wilcox will be there. I think that's going to be a good crew. So excited for that. And then it is just good to see your face again. I mean, I got some major pause time.
Oh, we had a good time.
We did have a great time, but it's good to have you back on the show, and I'm sure viewers will appreciate an intelligent voice on the show.
Somewhat intelligent, but we Danielle, we had a missed opportunity, and you called it out. You called it out in our pre-show. So at Wreckfest, Joel and our good friend Janai Iqbal, we shared a really dope Airbnb. It was awesome. It had a ping pong table downstairs and everything, and we missed the opportunity to create content.
I saw none of it.
I know, no. I mean, there was nothing wrong going on there, but we could have done some fireside chats. We could have had some cool content. But next year, I'm going to rent the same house, Joel. Right? You want the same bedroom downstairs, and Danielle, we'll figure it out. If you want to, hang with the guys, maybe not. We'll see we'll see how that works. But we're gonna create some content from there, guys. I'm thrilled to be back. Everyone joining in the comments, please get involved. We want to hear what's up in your world. So Joel's heading out to San Diego for ERE. Danielle, anything else travel wise before we wrap up the year?
I'm also heading to the West Coast, but it's going to be for Thanksgiving. Yay!
Nice. What's going on out there?
I'll be in LA from the 21st of November until December 1st, which is amazing. So anyone who's in LA, I want to see you. I'll probably do some sort of like coffee chat, some sort of meetup while I'm out there.
Ooh, go have coffee with John Kraske. He's doing coffee out there. There's folks out there.
I did just message him the other day.
Let me know. We can connect.
And I saw Fink the other day. Look.
Where was it? You were in Atlanta?
Wow,
yeah.
There he is.
There's Fink.
I did a national tour while you guys were at Wreckfest. I went to Mountain View, California for an LG conference, and then I came back to the East Coast and went to Asheville for a camp conference.
Oh, Asheville's nice. I gotta get myself out there. Yeah, pause is chilling till the end of the year. We got a nice family trip out to Hawaii to wrap up. That's gonna be great. And then back on the road, folks. The gang is all gonna be back on the road. You can find us at a lot of events. We got TA Week coming up. We got Unleashed. We got Transform. We got the Gauntlet coming. So it's gonna be a big first quarter of the year. But we're gonna finish strong here. What do we got coming up on the show, folks? We have a bunch of really awesome guests. We're going to have some cool conversations here. I'm going to be back with Alin, but let's keep it.
Let's give a shout out to Will. We got iCIMS in the comment here. We got Evan White, Mr. Trent Cotton in there. We got Nikki. Nikki, good to see you. Good morning. John Baldino in the house, loving his own commercial. I love that.
It's a good spot. I remember when they recorded that. That was a good one.
And then we got Connor as well in there, and SG Heindel. I don't know how to say your name. That's okay. Nice. You can't say mine. But yeah, we're excited to be back. We got some big news that's gonna break as well. So there's a ton on this show today that I'm excited about. And Evan, if you check out the comments as well, we do have a really awesome sponsor for the show. So check out the links that Evan is dropping. You're going to want to check out that site, particularly if you're on the market for a new HR management platform.
Keka.
All in one. Keka. So special
budget friendly.
Keka. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're excited to be here this morning. And Again, Adam, it was good rec fest, a great takeaway. I know your content's been coming out with that as well. I've seen some of the content you've been posting, and it's fire.
Yeah, we got some good stuff coming up. Anybody wants to check out my keynote, My Journey of Inspiration is up now. That's on my post from today. We have a whole bunch of clips coming out for our friends over at Juicebox. Interviewing the founder, David Pfaffenholz, is coming up tomorrow. Going to drop that one. And then a ton of street interviews, a ton of sit-down interviews with folks that you know and love.
How did you like those street interviews?
I love the street interviews, man. But
were they real street or like conference street?
Well, they're food truck streets, right? they're the mean streets of the Nashville food truck scene. We're gonna hit those up. And I see Alin is joining us. I grabbed her at the Smokin' Butts barbecue. We may have a little clip from that to share, but let's get to it, guys. We have a lot to cover today in a somewhat short amount of time, so let's keep it rolling, team.
Let's keep it rolling. All right, like I said, we have a new sponsor for the show. Keka, if you guys are looking for an all-in-one HR management platform that can handle everything from payroll to performance management, you need to check out Keka. They're working with 10,000 organizations around the globe, and they're looking to break into the U.S. market. So if you check out the links that Mr. Evan White is dropping on all of these live shows, go click the link, go check it out. You can also do a demo, you could do a tour of the product as well. And not only are they the all-in-one system that you need, that's going to save you time, it's going to make you more efficient. They might even be able to beat the price of your current provider, which I know today we need better ROI. We need to get that money back. So check out Keka. Keka, we are so happy that you are supporting the show, and we cannot wait to see our listeners take advantage of the platform, get that ROI, and get that true all-in-one AI HR management platform on the board. So thank you, Keka. We appreciate you guys. And now I think we're going to roll on with the headline for today, which is a big one.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but Amazon is cutting a lot of jobs. What are we seeing out there, folks? What's the headline? Danielle, what's the headline here?
Well, Amazon, like you said, is cutting 30,000 jobs. So far, the news today is
corporate
that they've
jobs.
cut 14,000, corporate jobs, desk jobs, a lot of them in the HR space and also in operations, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, this is a big one. That's a huge number.
Huge. Well, I think there's a lot of elements here we got to break down, and I was digging deep into the article, and they're referencing back to the hiring surge during
Can't just keep on saying that.
The hiring surge where, the interest rates are down, hiring was up. They got to, and what did their stock price? What did their stock price go up for that? 1.4%. The rich keep getting richer, and people keep losing jobs. This is terrible.
We got Pedito in the house too. What up,
Mikey P?
Recruiting?
To be exact, this figure of 30,000 is still a small percentage.
I think they have 1.15 million total employees. They have a lot of employees. 3 million?
350,
including contractors?
Corporate.
I don't know the breakdown.
It's 350,000 corporate employees, and nearly 10% of those are
It represents 4% of the overall company's staff. Now, that may seem like a small number, but it's a large amount of people that are going to be back out on the job hunt, further saturating this already brutal job market. Joel, what are your thoughts out here with these 30,000 people going back into the job market?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're coming into a tough season as well, and what this period of time which we're coming into, which it would be between Thanksgiving and the New Year,
it's no man's zone. No man's zone.
People are still hiring, and people are still landing jobs. So I always like to clarify that because I get a lot of doom and gloom around my content, but. People are still hiring during that period, but it definitely gets tighter, and people start pushing jobs onto the new year, and they start saying, hey, we don't need this right now. So just to think about 30,000 people hitting the job market, or I think 14,000, let's say. You also got to think Target made cuts last week. I know Paramount is making cuts. The challenge is I don't think there was actually any kind of comment as to why they did this layoffs, except for that overhiring of the pandemic.
Except for the overhiring.
But it's hard when like we all kind of know when we are hearing executives talking nonstop about, AI and efficiency and automations and restructuring has to be something to do with it, right? And
So
especially with corporate jobs, the
let's
corporate job market's getting hit hard.
let's break this down a little bit. In 2023, the company cut 27,000 workers in HR, Amazon stores, web services, and other divisions. And he attributed that, the CEO Jassy attributed to job cuts to a worsening global economic outlook. And then also, how about raising your stock prices for the shareholders?
Yeah, and look, it's tough because in situations like this, I think we're going to continue to see these 5-figure layoffs across the board because when Amazon does something, other companies follow. So I think we're going to see that. But the truth is, like, if you're caught up in these layoffs, if you're worried about being laid off, just mentally, you got to mentally prepare yourself. And I just think all of us across the board, no matter what you do, if you're a solopreneur, if you are an employee, if you're, an executive, whatever your role is, whatever you do, you just need to mentally prepare yourself that, it's probably going to be a challenge for the next 6 to 18 months. Like, you just have to mentally prepare and go, I don't care if you've been at your company for 20 years, you're at risk. And at the end of the day, you're still in control of the things that you do. So if you want to go and doom scroll my content, do it. I've told people to just, if my content's not helpful and,
go to my
and having that lens isn't helpful, then unfollow, move on, and you're still in control, right? You still have your network. You still have skills that you can bring to companies. Maybe you've got to get a little bit creative.
Let's talk about pivots. Let's talk about pivots.
All that type of stuff.
Well, I recently went to this tech conference in San Francisco, and it was like mostly people in tech. And one of the conversations was like, well, someone brought up, like, what do you do in this job market? And one of the panelists said, the best thing you could do for your career is stay on top of the tech coming out. And of course, it was a tech conference. Of course, this woman's going to say that. She's on like some AI, like open AI council. Like it's obviously rigged in some way. But I think she's right. Like I speak to a lot of young grads. A lot of them say, oh, I don't want to do AI. I don't want to do that whole thing because, it's bad for the environment. And
having no job is bad for the environment.
You're literally shooting yourself in the foot if that is what you're worried about at this very moment. Because the other thing that came out of the conference for me was like, there's this one guy and he was like, the best technology disappears into your phone and into your life. And it's true.
People use it.
And that's what's going to happen. We're in the very early stages of this technology, but there's definitely no doubt that's what these layoffs are about. The thing I have a problem with is let's just say it. Let's just like name the thing and like say what's actually happening.
Yeah, we need to be transparent about it. But Joel hit the nail on the head there, folks. You need to take that time to just breathe, take a step back, focus on what's important to you, kind of do some self-inventory, and also think about those transferable skills. Like, could you move into a sales role? Look at the open roles that are out there and see what else interests you, because you're going to get to a point where those funds are going to run dry. And you're going to keep hoping and hoping. Hope is not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy, folks. Look at that Venn diagram, right? Look at that Venn diagram of what your skills are and what you're passionate about, and see what other options are out there. Maybe it's not forever.
Lean into people, man. Lean into people. Like,
lean into your network.
Leaning into tech obviously is an important thing, and understanding the systems. I know Lynn talks about this a lot, right? It's not knowing like a specific tool. It's understanding like what the technology is, what it does. Like, listen to experts like Lynn, Kyle Lagunas, people who know and can actually articulate what's going on. And it's good to have that understanding, but also lean into people. Like I think right now there is a lot of people that don't want to go out. They don't want to meet people. So Danielle, you're at a conference. That's a great place to go. Happy hours where you can meet people are great places to go. And I think it's just taking that hat off of like, hey, I want a job. No, I want to provide value. I want to help your business. I want to help you. And if you can get that mindset, particularly if you're thinking about pivoting into fractional or looking to start your own business, you're not looking for someone to give you work. You're looking to provide solutions to problems. And that's a big like mindset shift that I think a lot of people, and whether or not you're looking for a job, it's the same thing. Not what were my responsibilities, what were my tasks, but here's the value. Here's how I helped the business I was in. We need to start thinking like that. And it's a slight nuance, right? You go from, hey, I'm looking for a job to I'm looking to solve problems for businesses. And if you think back and you look at your experience and go, well, I don't know if I solved many problems. I don't know the value that I brought to a business. That's why you might be, you might have to really dig deep and go, okay, I worked on this project for 3 years. What was the impact of it? Did it save the company money?
Being on AI too to like figure out what those numbers are.
Yeah, and while you're in the system, while you have access to that information, speaking to those that haven't been laid off, now is the time to gather that data and really take that assessment and take a look. I know people have said like having like a win sheet where you write down your wins.
That's a good tip.
Things like that seem like, they kind of seem corny, but it's actually really helpful to do while you have a job. And then networking, leaning into those relationships, not just professionally, but people outside of your professional network, people that, friends, family. It's leaning into people and understanding technology, I think, is just crucial.
Bold tips from Joel. So, folks out there, there's plenty
of
good folks. One more bonus one before we move on.
So recently, I was talking to my friend David Dubinsky. He has a podcast called the Portfolio Career Podcast. So he talks to a lot of people who have these portfolio careers.
Get me
Very
on that.
interesting guy. He's a great podcaster. You guys would get along. Anyway, I went on a walk this weekend and we were speaking, and we're kind of in this like season of emergence. We were talking about. We're in a season of like transitioning. I'm working on this underrated economy project, but as public people, it's hard to talk about the things that are in transition. You're not exactly sure how to articulate, when someone asks you what's going on in your life or what's new. And it could be hard. So one of the things he pointed me to was this now page. It's literally now.page. And it's a page where you could essentially just like list all the projects that you're doing right now, that you're working on, that you have worked on, which is my goal for the week, is to come up with some sort of post about all of the different projects I've been working on the last, 6 months. Because I have been working on different things and people see me out there doing things and like, oh, you're killing it. But the reality is, if you don't know how to articulate what you've done, especially in your time, not working specifically.
It's like a brag sheet.
For a company, like I think it's important to really be able to articulate, well, what is the impact you've actually driven for a business or your community or your own life? Like, what have you been up to? So that's another one. Now.page. I'm not. This is not sponsored. Check it out.
Check it out. Awesome, guys out there. We know, ladies, everyone out there. We know this is hard. Keep your head down. Make the space to take care of yourself. Let's keep it rolling. Lynn, hi friend. What's happening?
Hello, friend. I'm at another conference. Can you believe it?
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Today we are in Orlando.
Have you seen Trent yet? Have you guys?
I have. Our booths are like we're staring at each other for 2 days now. Like, I got you.
I got you.
Right
Alin is the ultimate road warrior. We're excited. I'm excited to be back doing this segment with you. It's one of my favorite things to do. You're one of my favorite people in the industry. I learned from you. You're a mentor. You're a friend. Happy and honestly, I have one more shout out and thank you for also being an ally by my side as I went through my health journey, and that means a lot to me for you to be there. So let's get to it. Lessons from the road. What 9 weeks, 6 cities, and hundreds of conversations have revealed to you. So your ear is to the ground, literally. You're hearing, seeing, synthesizing. Bring it back to us. What's happening out there?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about this maybe a little more existentially. What's kind of happening out there in the ecosystem. Listen, I think the biggest thing I can say is the difference between last year and this year is the ground has actually shifted. I think the conversations are more urgent. The dialogue is maybe a little bit more panic tinged than even it was a year ago.
For sure.
And I think that translates into a lot of people trying to figure out what does all this stuff mean. And when we say all this stuff, it's everything from the evolution in technology to what you guys were just talking about with Amazon. What's going on in the job market? Something feels off. We can't quite figure it out. There's just a lot of dialogue there. So I broke it down. This was my morning Uber ride thought today. So you're all going to get it as it flies.
All right. This is the best time to get you, though. You're caffeinated. You're awake. You got the energy. Give it to us. Give it to us, Elaine.
Right. Okay. So number one, I think where we're seeing people who are really leaning in, it's with their curiosity. When people stop asking questions, they are just accepting what is being fed to them. And they are starting to feel less excited and less in control of their options.
And just to add some color to that, this kind of relates to GPT with everyone taking it as gospel, guys. Remember,
Yes.
ChatGPT is not the ultimate source of truth. Trust, then verify anything, and don't just take it as it comes. And this applies to life. Keep the curiosity. That's what employers like to see. They want to know how you figured it out. FIO. Stay curious and share your story.
You absolutely do. And you have to be asking the questions. You have to be asking the deeper questions, not just how do I solve a task, but why am I doing this in the first place? What is the intent behind it? What would happen if? Those people who are curious are coming up with some really interesting solutions out there. I think we're going to start emerging new use cases, new challenges, new strategies. Those are the conversations I think we're really interesting out here. The second one is, and it kind of is connected, I think we are, when in doubt, when people go into this kind of crisis mode of angst, on the other side of that is an understanding about why we do this in the first place. What is the purpose here? And that it really is a deeper purpose than just checking off your tasks on a job description, right? There is this real reemergence of this understanding of the value of connecting people to work and what that means in the larger kind of societal sense of who we are. So I know that's a little existential, but I spent a lot of time in those conversations.
It's important. I think a lot of us lose our focus and purpose of why we're doing what we're doing and what's important. You got to always keep that North Star in focus. Oof. Right. Let's keep this. This is a heavy one here.
We're rolling. Okay. So the next one. This one, I think we need to really be paying attention to. You guys have been talking to it a lot in the show over the last few weeks. I think we need to go deeper into this. I saw a great conversation with Johnny Campbell at the RL100 in Nashville. And he showed some data. I've got to find his charts. We'll throw them out there for people. But he's showing out there, listen, the data's in now. If you are under 35 and you're in that kind of beginning career, even those first, we're not even talking early entry level, those early career motions and movements, it is a wasteland. There are no jobs left. We are not hiring. Nobody's hiring in those roles anymore. Those have been now replaced. It's not a question of when. It's not a question of if. The data shows it's already happened. Now we have a bigger question for ourselves, which is, okay.
Now what? Now what?
What happens to those individuals? How do we evolve the next level of skill sets? What is that going to evolve to? Something we really need to be paying attention to. Okay, I'm going to keep going.
It's scary.
It's scary. Okay. Everybody knows they have to start transforming. They know they need to start bringing AI into their ecosystem, into their strategies. They're starting to think differently about work in general, what they're doing in space. Listen, this is a marathon, guys. It's not a sprint. It is an endurance act. It does not happen. You don't flip a switch, buy one product, change one thing in your ecosystem.
Dip your toes in the water, guys. Give it a try. Be open to it.
You got to start playing, and you got to get in there, and you got to be okay with not having all the answers as you walk in. It really is a transformational journey.
And it's going to be uncomfortable, folks. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to try new things. And I'll tell you this, when you become a champion of the technology in your workplace, you are starting to become invaluable. And this is going to help as best as possible. When they're looking through who to cut, they're going to be like, hey, well, Adam brought these ideas to the table. He's embracing the technology. There's some value in Adam keeping him around here. This is how you try to future-proof yourself career-wise as best as possible, folks.
100%. Okay. And the last one is really just a personal lesson. I feel like I learn this every year, but this year it got me, and it got me big twice. But I will tell you, you cannot get clarity when you're in the midst of the chaos. So as I was jumping from plane to plane and having these conversations, and I didn't really understand what any of it meant. I could not process any of it.
You can pause.
I literally had to there were two moments in particular where I just walked off the floor and took a nap. And on the other side of that, it made sense. I could understand what was going on. And I think that's I have a very extreme story, right? When you're doing the road thing, you're rolling, and that's just the deal. I think everybody's in some version of this
somehow moment, in their life.
Somehow in this life, speed and this sense of urgency, it goes along with the sense of angst that's existing in the ecosystem right now. We have to figure out how to take a breath, find the quiet, make sense of what's around us, and then come up with the next idea.
There's so much noise out there that you, as an individual, not even counting someone who's an employee, you need to take a beat and just breathe. Go outside, touch grass, spend time with friends and family, and let those thoughts synthesize in your head. I mean, I'm talking about coming back from RecFest. I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by the conversations, and it didn't really click to me until I was on the plane. And I was able, and I had no TV in my regional Delta flight, and I was able to just be alone with my thoughts. And then I started to write notes, and then I started to think about what I'm going to talk about, folks. This is brutal. Take care of yourself, Ellen. Take care of yourself on the road.
100%.
Travel is brutal. You're crossing time zones. You're the time traveler.
I am a time traveler.
Quantum leap over here.
Quantum leap. I've lost all sense of time, space, and distance. But you know what? We're on the tail end of it. I'm wrapping up. I've got my last day here tomorrow, and then it's a little time with family, and then back to the ranch to make sense of all of this, and hopefully to distill it into something that'll help us figure out where we're going next.
I love it, Elaine. This is great. We wish you safe travels. Do we have a little clip from Pods at RecFest with Elaine? Do we have that clip?
I am super excited to take modern recruiting tech, put it inside an end-to-end system where I can have all that data and we can actually do something that fucking works.
Yeah.
People's sense of identity and self is built around how they connect to what they deliver to the world. It's just how we are made. This idea of talent acquisition is about connecting people to work, but we've always been limited in our ability to do that because we've only seen this sliver of the world.
That's right. More of my conversation with Elaine from RecFest is coming up soon. You were smoking butts over there.
I know. I had some crazy hair going on. It was hot. We were rolling.
We were on but that's the guys. This is what it's like on the road. We are out there. We're sharing ideas. Elaine, I want to thank you so much. Thanks to our friends over at Smart Recruiters. Anything else? What's happening? Smart Recruiter. Any good news coming up?
You don't. It's all good news. It's just all good news. Listen, my last little comment's gonna be welcome back, Adam. We're happy to have you.
Thank you,
We're
Elaine.
You're doing well.
Safe travels. We'll catch up soon. The great Elaine Bailey from Smart Recruiters, everybody. Let's keep the show rolling. Bye-bye. All right. So happy to be back with Elaine. I love that segment. That was a good one. What do we got?
The new grad thing hit hard.
It's tough. I mean, I have conversations with a lot of my friends' kids that are in school right now, and they're trying to figure out what to do. One of them is in like computer science. I'm like, what are you doing in computer science? Are they teaching you what's happening now, or are they doing history lessons of what happened in the past? You actually learning practical skills? I don't know. I'm not in touch with. I'm old enough to have college age kids soon.
Hey, listen, I'm all for learning hard skills with your hands. Trades. Let's go. Get the electricians in the house.
I'm telling you, we have a deficiency of skilled labor in this country. My brother's a guidance counselor at the high school we went to, and I said to him, I go, Rick, are they still doing the auto school and the trades at Calhoun at this high school? No, we moved it on to other things. I'm like, bring it back. I have electrician friends that are making so much money. They're building businesses because people.
Gary Vee started talking about it. When Gary Vee starts talking about it, then everyone pays attention.
Now they're paying attention here. But the trades are really important, and people need to get their hands dirty again if you want to make some money. You know,
dirty jobs. Do
you ever think? So Danielle, if you were going to do a hands-on skilled labor job, what area do you think you would be like kind of drawn to?
I think, well, my dad was a contractor. So I don't know if you guys know this. And he built his entire career on contracting in high-end contracting New York City. I probably would either go the contracting route or be like an HVAC or electrician. Because it's relatively easy. It's kind of like a puzzle. You know.
Well, I mean, you have to. But there's a lot of things.
It's easier to learn than a lot of things.
Oh, I've been unclogging a lot of toilets in my house lately, and my father-in-law, who immigrated here from the Ukraine, started as a plumber here, and he built incredible business too. He was a contractor in New York City too. So you start and you build. And you have something, right? So anyone out there, if there's something you do on the side, if you're a hobbyist, right? I do my own home improvements. Think about getting licensed. Starting on some small projects, going on TaskRabbit or something, and doing things like that. There's so many things you could do if you enjoy it with your hands and make some cash.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like me and my co-founder of Underrated Economy, Lindsay, both of our dads came from construction. She's much more well equipped in doing things with her hands. She just moved into a new house. She's not afraid to get out a handsaw and start like cutting
Yeah.
pipes and shit.
My
But
wife and I
I'm
painted
not
our
that
bathroom
bad.
ceiling this weekend. We saved a ton of money. But what about air traffic controllers?
Yeah.
My God, especially in Nashville. We got to get some more in New York, LaGuardia, JFK, Newark. Come on.
It's a big problem.
That's a
And
scary job,
actually,
and we need more air traffic controllers.
I posted something on LinkedIn a couple weeks ago about how the US government, just within like, I think it's just like the military, we're going to need like 600,000 electricians in 5 years. And
Wow.
that's not how many electricians we have or we will have. We're
Yeah, you
we're
don't want
looking at a
people-
major shortage.
You don't want
So
people doing their
now-
own home electrician repair. It is you mix wires up,
no.
you're in trouble. Joel
It's
does his own
actually really
electric repair, right?
dangerous.
Joel.
Really dangerous.
Joel, what's your latest home improvement project?
Ooh, latest home improvement project.
Who needs to hear this?
I don't know. I hung some shelves. I guess that's kind of home improvement.
Are they still hanging?
Yay.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly like once I got married and then bought the house, like I had to do a lot of work myself. Like we painted our whole house. I
hate painting.
I cut down. I do a lot of like the landscaping stuff. So cutting down trees.
Nice.
There you go.
We sanded the floor.
Did you do a driveway?
Yeah, I did a driveway. So my wife's dad is like.
That's called your father-in-law.
Yeah, father-in-law. He's, you know what I need? I need some more of this right now because I'm under the weather a little bit. But
Chugging the day.
I did construction recruiting for 5 years, and what I will say is when superintendents, these are the guys that are running the project. Like the actual, the laborers, right? And they're the ones who are kind of foreseeing, like they're not in the office, they're not the project managers, they're the guys who are like making sure the crew is where they need to be, people are on time. I kid you not, in the 5 years of recruiting those positions, I probably spoke to 2 that were under 40. And what that told me was a lot of the guys I would talk to were actually over 60, and they were like, they were in that stage of life where their kids were off, so they could just go travel, and they would, they'd have their trailer, they'd bring their wives with them. But I would always think, like, man, we've really got to bring. Well, what they would do is they would bring a trailer with them, and then they would get paid. They get a subsidy for housing or for like a hotel, and they would just pocket that. And so they would provide their own housing, pocket the money, and they're making good money. But it was also like these guys are on the site at like 6 a.m. and they're not leaving at 8 p.m. And the truth of it is, it's like it's a tough job. It's hands-on. These guys are, they're kind of like they have a different mindset. But I think these industries, particularly construction, healthcare, manufacturing, one of the things, if you're an HR leader in that space, if you're a talent acquisition leader, we got to think of like rebranding and making it more attractive for people. Because I think where tech has done a good job, they've just done a master class. And thinking back to like 10, 15 years ago where, you'd see these offices with like the fridges full and the nap pods. And it was kind of corny, but they did a good job at branding and being attractive to people coming into the market.
Even before that, like movies like about being in finance, like Wolf of Wall Street, like those types of things painted finance where you literally sit at a desk all day and you at times sleep under your desk as attractive. And those are the jobs that people are fighting for right now out in the street, like literally fighting each other for these jobs that are so glamorous, right? But in reality, you could literally be doing finance at a boring ass security company or elevator company, and you could be making even more money and you could have the best job security in the world. That's why underrated economy is going to be the next big thing. I'm telling
you. We're excited to hear more about it. Do we have a caller coming in?
I hear someone.
Ring ring.
Zain, welcome to the HR Morning Show. First of all, what a backdrop. Where are you? You're mute. There we go. Oh, you're still on me. I think there might be a sound issue. I'll just admire the backdrop while we try to figure this out. That's fantastic. All right.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Perfect. We can now hear you. I don't know if you heard me, but
Perfect.
Love the backdrop.
Yeah, I
Where
did.
are you right now?
I'm in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. HR Morning Show worldwide. Well, first of all, thank you so much for joining this show. I know a lot about you, but I don't think the audience does. So do you mind giving us a quick bio of who you are?
Yeah, my name is Zain. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Transcripts. Transcript sells to HR teams all around the world, predominantly in the US. We have relationships with major Fortune 500 businesses. What we do is we go in and we automate the issuance of employment and income verification documents for employees at these organizations. So you're an HR manager, you have 100, 1,000, 10,000 employees. Every single time one of those employees needs an employment and income verification done, you'll get a phone call, a fax, an email. Instead of you having to manually respond to that, you just give your employees access to a transcripts document. The employee can then share over their verified employment and income credentials with whoever they want.
Yeah, I'm going to want to dig in quite deep on that because, as you know, trust seems to be broken in the hiring process right now. We're seeing a lot of AI generated applicants. We're even hearing stories about people going into interviews that are actually not the person and that is looking to get hired. So what is that the problem you're trying to solve right now? What is the biggest problem you're trying to solve at Transcripts?
Yeah, exactly. It's building trust in an era where you can't really trust anything on the internet. There's going to come a day and age, and that's probably around the corner where, right now I'm on this call. It might not even be me in a couple of years. It might be a deep fake of me. And as science fiction as that sounds, that is the reality in which the world is heading. So how do you build trust in that environment? And for that, you need to be able to have these verifications. And by enabling the consumer, the employee, to own those verifications, it just creates a lot more, quite frankly, and more equitable, and also just a lot less compliance around sharing your own information if you're the one who controls it. Um, and you mentioned a really good point about we're working with a lot of ATS systems actually on helping them verify legitimate candidates from illegitimate candidates. What we're seeing, and I think all across the board of HR managers are seeing, is that you're seeing a deluge of fraudulent applicants. Some of these applicants aren't even real people. Some of these applicants are misstating what they're doing. AI has made it incredibly easy for them to do this. How do you combat that? Well, we're working with some of the largest ATS systems right now to create this verified candidate profile, where if you verify your credentials using transcripts, your previous employment status, we A, know you're a human being, and B, we know you're a legitimate candidate.
So how do you do it? So I was reading through what you guys do, and obviously blockchain comes up, right? And blockchain has kind of taken a backseat to AI in the world of tech in the last couple of years. But digging in, so you've got your potential employee, they're owning their data, they're going verifying everything. How does it flow? Like, how does the company know
Yeah.
that it's real? Like, how does an employee or potential employee verify their information? How does it go in between each? I'm really curious what the actual logistics of how this works.
Yeah. So we integrate with the HRS system of any of our partner organizations, any of our customers. So your Rippling, your Gusto, even with payroll providers like Rippling, ADP. So using the information already in those systems, we show out verified credentials to every single employee, both current and previous, in that organization. That employee can then log into transcripts using either their work or personal email to claim their credential. And all they have to do is just click share, type in the email whoever they want to share it with, and click send, and we send over a verified credential to whoever needs to verify that information. Now, blockchain, it's a loaded term, and I know it's a scary term sometimes in the HR space. It's not a technology that many HR professionals are familiar with. But the really cool thing about blockchain in this use case is two things. One, blockchain helps us make sure that all the records are auditable and immutable, which is very important when you're dealing with verified records. But two, blockchain helps us also ensure that both the organization and ourselves don't have to actually deal with any compliance. Both the organization and ourselves aren't actually storing the data. The way we view it is that we're simply, if the organization, the employer, is handling over a verified envelope, that envelope is sealed. The only person who can read that envelope is the employee. We help facilitate that transfer from the employer to the employee, and then from that employee to the verifier. So in the process, no one's able to view the records in that envelope, and ensures that the information remains private and secure.
So for this to work, do you need a connection with all the employers, with the institutions? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. Well, we don't need a connection with all the employers. Employees also have the ability to just themselves individually verify their previous employment through our platform, and we do that through either payroll API. So you log in with your individual payroll login, or through the Social Security Administration in the United States. So the SSA knows exactly where you work. They know how much you've made, and we are able to, through integration with them, we're able to verify that data. As for verifiers, the verification email that the verifier receives looks like it's coming directly from the organization. So, for example, if you're, let's say we work with, one of our Fortune 500 companies, it looks like it's coming at verify@theirdomain.com. So from a verifier's perspective, it looks like it's coming directly from the employer, which is awesome, and it meets kind of the internal requirements of almost every single verifier in the country.
Is there any hesitancy from any of the payroll providers or the employees to actually share and connect that data?
Yeah, no, it's actually a much more better way than doing it the old-fashioned way of, having to manually sort through this, or even worse, selling this data to a credit bureau. So right now, what's the alternative is that there's Equifax. They have a solution called the Work Number, and what they're doing is that they're many of the credit bureau businesses, aggregating consumer data, much against our own will and desire. I did not sign up to receive a credit score at the age of 18, but I had one. Similarly, you did not sign up for Equifax to have your employment history, but they have it. So it's just a much more equitable and more fair way to share this employment history.
So big news for you in the last couple of weeks. You just announced that you raised 15 million in seed funding, and there's some pretty heavy hitters as far as investors, Mark Cuban being one of them. How did this happen? Like, how did you get Mark Cuban on board?
Yeah, I cold emailed Mark. So Mark was talking
Okay.
about
I
using
love it.
blockchain for. Yeah, he was talking. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast, and he was talking. This is back in 2022. He was talking about using blockchain to verify credentials, and I emailed him saying that we were working on this idea. He originally actually passed on it. He said he loved the idea, but it was a very tough road ahead. He was right. We followed up with him a few months later with all kinds of traction, signing our first Fortune 500 business. And he was like, you know what, you guys are killing it. I want to be a early supporter. And he's one of our first investors in our business.
So what's next for you? How do you grow this? Obviously, there's challenges like adoption from employees getting connected to the ATS. Like, what's the plan look like for the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, we're growing super fast. We've 24x in the last 2 years. So as we're growing, we're actually now the 5th largest provider of employment and income data, and we're quickly becoming, I think by the next 12 months will be the 4th largest, and then it'll just be the credit bureaus that are ahead of us. So our goal is to just unlock that consumer data and pretty much create a world where employees actually own their data and create an alternative to these credit bureaus and make a really awesome solution for HR. So we're going to continue focusing on what we're doing. And yeah, that's kind of our plan over the next 12 months.
It might be a little bit overwhelming for the HR audience listening in, trying to see how this fits into their tech stack. And so give me an idea of what is your competition right now? Like, if they're looking at your service, like, what's the alternative? Is there an alternative out there, or is it completely a new space?
Yeah, the alternative is either you yourself doing this, as in manually responding to these inbound verification requests, or using a solution like the Work Number. The way this fits in is that it takes about 5 minutes to set up, so we're pretty fast. We have also all our security certifications available directly on our website. So we've tried to make it as easy as possible to use transcripts and as quick as possible. And that's probably one of the reasons also why SHRM invested in us as well. They've seen what we're doing for a lot of their members in the HR space. And we just try to make it as simple and quick to integrate transcripts.
So there's been companies that have gone down this road. One of the challenges that they've had is when it gets to actual point of transaction, right? Because monetizing blockchain into HR is not going to pay you in crypto. I think that's going to be a challenge. But how does that work on your end? So an employer, it's a normal billing cycle. How do they get billed? How does that work?
They get billed like any other vendor. So we take credit card, ACH,
Okay.
wire. No, we don't accept. We actually don't accept crypto. So bill us. To be quite honest with you, while we do use blockchain technology, we're not a crypto company. Blockchain
Yeah.
happens to be the best solution for this problem. But we're just think of us like any other HR vendor.
So usually this is done after the fact. How do you avoid? So we've all heard of the stories. We talked about deep fake interviews. Like, how can this potentially avoid recruiters wasting their time doing deep fake interviews? Like, do you suggest that we should be verifying before interviewing? That seems quite a long process, probably not viable. But what's your thoughts there?
Well, using our technology will actually be possible to verify pre-interview. So what about if you only
Okay.
interview verified resumes, right? So what is a resume? It's you're taking someone's word that they accomplished these things that they said on a piece of paper. Just as easily as I can go onto a Google Doc or a Word doc and change up the words on that, or have ChatGPT write me up a resume, is just as easily as it takes to make a fraudulent resume. So that seems a little silly that we take people at their word like that, knowing that they have the incentive to lie about it. What about if in your ATS system you had a pre-verified candidate list, and then you actually maybe started off there, decided if there's any candidates there that you want to interview, and then when you interview them, actually know that everything that they said they did, they actually did. If they were a senior engineer at Apple, or if they were a banker at JP Morgan Chase, or whatever, an HR professional at a large company, that they actually were that. Therefore, you can actually focus on testing their skills and not verifying their previous employment.
So let's end on this note. I'm curious. Obviously, you've done a lot of work in this. There's been a lot of changes in the industry. It's very challenging in the labor market right now. AI has taken the forefront when it comes to candidate applications. So basically, companies are trying to filter through candidates leveraging AI, and candidates are leveraging AI to try to get through the process as many applications as possible. So I'm curious, what does 5 years from now look like for you when it comes to the whole hiring landscape? Is this just going to be part of it where we're verifying everything, or is it just going to be a smaller portion? Like, what does it look like for you?
I think hiring will improve 100-fold 5 years from now. And the reason why I say that is I think you'll have a pre-verified list of candidates. You'll have candidates apply to your job as they always do. Candidates will be able to apply to more jobs than they've ever been able to before, because they'll be able to use AI to help them apply to multiple roles. But then when they apply to multiple roles, legitimate candidates that are actually truthful about what their experience and credentials are, will be able to present themselves in that way and say, here's my verified records, here's my verified resume. And you as an HR manager then can make a decision knowing that the person that you're bringing into an interview is actually who they state they are, rather than actually going through the entire interview process, then offering them the role, having them sign onto the role, and then run a background check. That's like, you've wasted many tens of hours, versus you can just make sure that, okay, once we go through the interview process and once we come to agree to a package, this person is who they are, so we'll just hire them.
Well, Zain, I really appreciate you. What time is it there right now?
It is 10:50 p.m. So
10:50. Okay, so we're not in the middle of the night. At least that's a good thing.
No.
Perfect. I really appreciate you joining us. Definitely, everyone, check out transcript.com. Correct?
Yes, correct. Thanks, Serge. Really appreciate the time.
All right, Zain. Check him out. Find him on LinkedIn, Zain Zaidi. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello. I am also coming to you from Orlando. Lynn and I just keep following each other all over the globe. And today I have a very special guest, an analyst and researcher, very well known in the industry, Miss Jess. Can we go ahead and bring her on stage? Hello,
Hey,
Miss Jess. Long time no see.
Yeah, long time no see. Doesn't it sound so fancy when we say, "Oh, it's so
It
nice
does.
in Paris"?
Yeah, yeah. Everybody, whenever I was like, yeah, last week I was in Paris, they go, oh, that must be hard. I'm like, it was and it wasn't. So I don't even know what day it is. I'm just going with the flow, whatever my calendar tells me.
I hear you.
So for those who may not know you, why don't you go ahead and just kind of introduce yourself, a little bit about your background, then we'll
Yeah,
dive in.
well, it's great joining you, Trent. And
You
hi
too.
to everybody hanging out with us here today. I'm Jess Von Bank. I'm at Mercer. I've spent my entire career in this industry. I love it when I get to talk to somebody in the TA space because I started as a recruiter way back in the day. I was a practitioner first. I ran big recruitment teams at a Fortune 5 company. I'll let you pick which one. Then I went to the vendor side because I saw how disjointed a bunch of our candidate recruiter hiring manager experiences were, and I got kind of obsessed with the tech as part of that solution. And then ultimately landed in the analyst consulting advisory world, which is where I am now, doing digital transformation more broadly, but I still
Okay.
get to talk about experience design all the time.
I love it. And one thing that was over the last couple of weeks, I've been able to hang out with a lot of the industry analysts, and it's kind of pleasing to me that so many of you came from the practitioner world. It's like
Yeah.
you have empathy, you have an understanding. You're not just sitting off in the tower. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. I get so excited to do briefings and analyst updates because I'm like, I've seen this 20 years ago. Like, please tell me how this has changed.
Yeah. Well, on that, I thought that we would tap into your knowledge because you've actually been part of a lot of the pitch. Or I don't know if I'm describing it
Yeah.
right, but at some of these conferences, some of the
Yes.
new industry tech, they'll come in. Why don't you do a better job of telling exactly what you're doing? Because I am fumbling this morning.
I'll try to give it the correct nomenclature. HR
There we
Tech
go.
calls it Pitch Fest. Unleash calls it the startup competition. Either way you look
Okay.
at it, I do try to stay plugged into the startup scene. Of course, we all catch uh, the press releases and the feature announcements and the release updates from all of the big players in the space. I also like to keep an equal eye on who's up and coming, whether it's serial founders like Doug
Mhm.
Berg, who I started my career with, still launching new tech, or whether it's people who come from outside the industry and have never sold to HR before or talent solutions before. Sometimes those are the most exciting players because
Yeah.
they just see a need. They
Mhm.
literally just recognize white space and they build for it. And then they try to figure out why we haven't solved it yet in the world. Like sometimes the blinders are too restricting in terms of how we view potential solutions. And it takes an
Mhm.
outsider coming in to be truly disruptive. So yeah, I emceed the startup competition for Unleash World in Paris, and it's the first time I think that I actually saw all of the finalists represent different domains across the
Oh,
HR
interesting.
ecosystem. There was a
Very
learning
cool.
solution. There was somebody tackling global payroll, which is no
Mhm.
joke. Of course, there was a recruiting solution, which happened to be the winner, Visi. Lots of fans for Visi. They've got some amazing customer testimonials. Strategic workforce planning, which is super foundational. So it was nice to see such broad representation of solutions. I think at the Pitch Fest at HR Tech, almost everything was for talent acquisition because TA kind of tends to rush to the bleeding edge first because they have to. They
Mhm.
really have to understand how to engage and attract an external consumer before they're part of your workforce. So TA always gets to be sexy and innovative first, I feel. But there's a lot of other disciplines that need that.
We need that on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Talent acquisition, sexy and innovative.
People who work in TA every day probably are like, I wish.
I wish.
But
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
literally, when you zoom out, TA and L&D, I think, tend to go first when it comes to innovation.
That makes sense. And then the winner last week, you and I were talking about this when we hung out. I loved their tagline.
Right.
And it helped keep me honest. It's like Pinterest and my resume had a baby.
Yes.
And so I remember walking by their booth and I saw it on their presentation, and I just kind of stopped. I said, "You need to unpack that for me."
Yeah.
It was really fun.
But to
So I
the
want
point,
to
right?
tap
You have
in.
to have like more of a consumer-like feel
Right,
to some of our people stuff because we're dealing with people, not just
right.
headcount on your payroll. And so how you represent talent is part of the way we need to evolve, and they definitely answer that need.
So let's tap into kind of what you've seen at the two conferences. What are some of the trends that you're seeing in upcoming tech?
Mm, yeah. Well, and I also, you're at Gartner, I think, Trent,
I
right?
am at
So
Gartner. Yep.
I just did Gartner in London. So I wouldn't even say between the two conferences. I've been on the road for a while. I'm
Right.
almost done. I think I have 2 weeks left before I get to hibernate for the winter and then come out
Yeah.
on
Next week I get to hibernate, and then I've got a doing a market visit in December. Then I'm done.
nice. And there's been client work in there for me. So it's not just being out in the ecosystem and out at analyst days and industry conferences, even just getting, face to face and one-on-one with some of our customers. There's a lot of noise always, but
Mm,
especially in the last 18 months, I would say there's a lot of noise. And then there's sort of like sorting out like what the actual signals are, right, among all of the noise. It's pretty interesting. I did our Mercer conference in Barcelona a couple of weeks ago. And of course, they invited me to talk about AI. I spend a lot of time talking about transformation, and it always comes down to, and so what do we do about this AI business? And in our
right.
ballroom full of customers, some of them very mature, some of them globally complex, huge by revenue and headcount, like very mature customers. Um, and and the level of not like when I say comprehension, like a baseline understanding of AI and agentic, for sure. But when I say comprehension, I'm talking about like how to govern and deploy,
Mm,
how to think about data fitness and digital readiness, and who, like literally who in the business delivers technology to the business. That conversation has changed. And so what I'm seeing in the industry is that the technology is way, way, way ahead of our ability to deploy it well. And when I say our ability to deploy it well, it's not just understanding what it is and what it does. I think that was a capabilities conversation we started having last year. It felt like a
right.
lot of bright, shiny object syndrome. We were sort of looking and bedazzled with the features and functionality. Um, and so it was very much like demo, 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 show and tell, impress, wow, shock and awe factor. Now I think the dust is settling on the conversation, and we do have a bigger, broader understanding of not just AI and all of the features and functionality as capabilities, but we're actually starting to understand how capable it is and what this will actually require to deploy it well, to manage and govern it well, what that requires from an operating model perspective to govern and regulate powerful technology like we have now. So I think the fact that the technology is galloping so far ahead of our organizational ability to manage and govern it well, it just begs a bunch of new questions. How are we set up as a business? What's the right operating model and governance structure? Have we earned the right to powerful technology like this from a data fitness perspective, understanding how to measure responsible outcomes? And so the conversation has gotten a little bit more operational and
Sure.
foundational and pragmatic. I call this our practical era. I thank God we finally arrived in the practical era. But
Right.
good. Like this is a very good thing to say. Actually, now that I see all of the stuff it can do, I need to go back to the drawing board and decide how to design what our business needs and how to measure and define those outcomes before I start slamming all this technology in the door and it gets out of hand in our organization. That's just my 2 cents. I'm seeing quite a bit of that in client conversations.
Yeah, if you were to do this on LinkedIn, if that was one of your things, my comment would be say it louder for the back.
Right.
Because I saw a stat not too long ago, and I can't remember who it was from, but it said that in 2025, we're moving from kind of this testing phase
Mm-hmm.
to 75% of enterprises actually moving into 2026 and operationalizing, eh,
Yes,
operationalizing AI.
totally.
So it sounds like you're kind of seeing the same trend.
Yeah, and we literally got up in arms over this MIT study, right? That said 95%
Hmm.
of AI projects, proofs of concept, pilots are failing. Okay, like stop with the headlines. But why? Why was that the stat? Why was that the number? And it's because we're doing too many pilots. We're just falling for all these demos and we're bringing all this stuff into our organization that we're not ready for because the stuff is so good that you actually have to redesign work and change your
Hmm.
actual workflows and your processes and who does what and why and how. Like you actually have to do some, it's like cleaning your house before guests come. Like you probably better clean your house right now because this is a pretty important guest. And when we see stats like all of these proofs of concept not taking hold and not scaling, that's what was behind that stat that we all went crazy for. Like, wow, it really is a bubble and it's bursting. Look at this failure rate. It's not a failure rate. It's on the AI, on the tech. It's actually a failure rate on organizational readiness to actually
Hmm.
consume and deploy it and to scale it. A small pilot is fine, but if you have no path to scale it and manage it and deploy it, more broadly, that's the failure rate. And so I like to unpack that number a little bit and say what's really happening and how much of this does the organization need to own?
And I do think this is a great time for HR to step up and take that void. That it's a human issue. It's not necessarily just a tech issue. And I think we've been focusing on the tech issue, and we're kind of missing the point.
Yeah. I participated in, there was a CHRO summit at Unleash World in
Mhm.
Paris last week. Josh Burson kind of opened, set the table for us, and then we broke out into round tables. And the round table that I facilitated was around HR reinvention. And it was packed. Packed. In the room, which was invite only, I had everybody was huddling. We couldn't even fit around our table because everybody was at my table and the other tables were and I was like, what happened here? Did you all pick this topic? HR reinvention. Like, how do we reinvent
Mhm.
ourselves? And they're like, yeah. So I had this crowded table over here and the other one, which tells me something. Like, think about that, which
Mhm.
tells me something because Burson's thing was about stop calling it transformation. This isn't the transformation age anymore. This is actually a total and complete reinvention age. That was
Mhm.
kind of the message. And then my table just fills up with all these HR people. Like, we're not ready. Not only do we not have a seat at the table? We love to talk like this. Like nobody's inviting us to the table because they don't know what we have to bring. And so it's sort of this rebranding, repositioning, remarketing of HR to be like, well, guess what we do bring to the table? Data,
Mhm.
massive amounts of workforce and business data that AI actually needs to sit on top of. Everybody says get your AI as close to your data as possible for it to be impactful and effective. Well, who owns a lot of that? HR does.
Yeah.
And so we need to kind of beat our chests a little bit and have a little bit more ego than we've had so far. We bring data, design capabilities, governance structure. I hope we understand how to respond to things like compliance and regulation. We give it a bad
Mhm.
rap, but guess what you need to respond to? Compliance, regulation, governance in order
Right.
to do this kind of stuff at scale. So I think that we're probably in an HR kind of upskilling, ego building, we have to understand what we actually own and the value that brings in the C suite in order to have this conversation.
And I was going to ask you for a mic drop moment, but I think you just did it inadvertently. That's some fantastic advice. I always learn something whenever I talk to you. So thank you for coming on the segment.
Oh, absolutely. This was fun. Thank you.
All right. Okay, team, I'll kick it back to you.
Awesome. We are back. Wow, that was a lot to ingest and synthesize. Jess and Trent, thank you. That's what this show is all about. And guys, that's what I think everybody needs to tune in here. Anyone who's first time, this is what you're going to get on the HR Morning Show. These are the real experts sharing the truth, what's happening right now in the market. Be sure to follow us on the Purple Eggcorn page for all the updates. You'll get notifications that the shows are live, and you could catch replays in case you miss it because we have work. Not everyone can tune in all the time. We're also on YouTube. We're also a podcast. We're still doing that. Find out more at the purpleacornnetwork.com. Yes, we are a podcast. We are here every Tuesday, so follow along. We're trying to hit that 2,000 plus follow mark, so be part of it. What else is happening, Joel?
We need to pump up the follower count. I don't know how many times I can say this. But we've had an active chat as well. I know we got Trent in the chat there. We got Evan. We got Sham. Sham, good to see you as well. I think the more engagement we get and the more comments, the more questions, the more engagement we get on this show, I think the better the conversation. So I appreciate that. I would love to know from you guys kind of what you're feeling. I know a lot of you guys have gone out to events. What are you excited about? What are you thinking about in terms of even going into next year, into 2026? What are you focusing on? What is going to be your major focus for the rest of the year?
Yeah, chime in, guys.
Would love to hear from you guys.
Awesome. One more shout out to Keka, Joel. Let's do it.
Keka, the all-in-one HR platform that can help you from everything from payroll to employee management to performance management. You need to check out this platform. If you can, guys, drop the link that people can go and do a tour. You could do a demo. And so particularly if you're on the market, even if you're not on the market, this solution, it's not only going to make it everything all in one, so you don't have to go from application to application to application. Makes it easy, but they might also be able to beat your current provider's price as well. They've got over 10,000 clients globally breaking into the US. So please go in there, check out the link that I think Evan White is dropping on all of these, all of the live shows. We're streaming from multiple profiles. Click the link and stay tuned as well. If you haven't checked out Keka recently, you need to do it today. Go check out that link right now. Evan, I know you're going to be dropping that. Apologies here. I'm a little under the weather, as you guys can tell, but it's good to be here with you guys. Also, really super glad that we have Adam back with us. Always good to have you back.
Happy to be back here. We have the three amigos. Again, everyone, please visit purpleacornnetwork.com. Follow us on LinkedIn. We're a podcast. We're everywhere. We're here every Tuesday morning. Thank you to all of our guests. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Joel. Thank you to our production team in the truck. Alan, Evan, thank you, and have a great day and a great week, everybody. This is Purple Acorn HR Morning Show signing off. Have a great day, everybody.
You guys.
Bye.